Seems to me today that everybody's organized into mafias now. It's not just Hollywood mafia with all the Satanism going on. It's not just the drug mafia. But in reaction to what's going on with all of the censorship and oppression, people feel this need to congregate. You see, to become a power on their own because they're not spiritual. They don't depend on God. They're always looking for other people to depend on. That's what's happening. That's why there's so many mafias now. The mafia's in the church. The mafia's everywhere because they've got something to protect. They feel, you know. Jesus Christ was different. He didn't protect anything. When they came to get him, he says, "Hey, if it's me you're looking for, I already told you. This is here I am. But let my friends go." He didn't join the mafia. He didn't tell his disciples to form a little gun group. He was no part of this world. They didn't understand that. If you're no part of this world, what are you doing here? Well, I was born to take away the sin of the world for all that believe, but not many believe. Now, if you go out to the rural parts of America, you see a lot of deer, and they're scared to death of people. Well, there's little, neighborhoods and stuff where they have laws against shooting deer and stuff. But if you go down out to a real country where they don't have all the laws, the deers are the most petrified animal there is. They see you, they'll run, man, just because you're a human being. They're fugitives. They're being hunted down. This is what happens when you're not part of the mafia, All these good guys, out here killing deer because they're so good people, they're such good people. They want to pretend that there's no meat in the stores, they can't buy beef or anything. They got to go hunt down innocent, scared animals to prove their manhood, or they're tough, or they can make it off the land or something. Why? They're liable to kill me just for saying that, you see, because they're so tough, Can't take any truth. They can't hear the truth. They don't want to hear it. So really, the world has gone mad from what it was just a few years ago, man. The world has gone crazy. People's attitude has changed. Their intentions, their heart, their motivations, everything has changed now. And it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get worse, you see. And I think it says, Jesus said that there will come a tribulation such as never been before in the history of the world, and will never be again. You see? So that's what we're getting ready for. But people are stupid. They see what's right in front of their eyes. Why do I say they're stupid? Because Jesus said that unless those days were cut short, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be cut short. You see, so they're so stupid that they would annihilate all themselves, all of them. They just kill each other. Why are those days cut short? Because they smarten up? No, they don't smarten up. But for the elect's sake, whom they hate, that's why the days are cut short. And yet they're the enemy of these men. Why? Because Jesus Christ is not a coward. He gives counsel that is right counsel. And those that don't pay heed to what he says go off into the darkness. And it is because of these evil men that men refuse to see the light, you see, because they're afraid of men. Therefore the redeemed of the Lord shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee away. I, even I, am he that comforteth you. Who art thou, that thou shouldest be afraid of a man that shall die, and of the Son of Man which shall be made as grass? And forgettest the Lord, Jehovah, thy Maker, that hath stretched forth the heavens, and laid the foundations of the earth, and has feared continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor. Oh, they're so bad, you know. They're so big. As if he were ready to destroy. And where is the fury of the oppressor? You see, that's what it is. It's oppression. And it's sorrow and mourning. That's all they produce. And the church has got some really twisted doctrine. Do you know that there are people that believe that the wages of sin is eternal torture? You know, I asked a couple of guys the other day that were out preaching in the street. I said, why did Jesus Christ come if we have an eternal soul already, which is what they believe, you know? He says, well, that's because he saved us from hell, being tortured in hell. Oh, you mean then Adam, when he sinned, God was lying? God said he'd go back to the dust, but you said no. He went through eternal torture. Adam's being tortured eternally now, you know. And everybody that dies, that doesn't accept their view of God, is eternally tortured. I will be eternally tortured because I don't accept their false doctrine of eternal torture. See, this is how twisted people get, and they are. This doctrine does not come from God, but it comes from their own hearts of ignorance and hatred and torture. That's what they got in their hearts. So that's why they worship a God who's just like them. And oh boy, they're going to have a fun time during the 1,000 years. What are they going to do? Torture each other? Are they going to laugh and have a gay old time when they imagine that there are people down in the center of the earth that are being tortured and they're just smiling? Come on, man. You don't understand the Bible. That's the problem. And so they twist it because they're twisted. Now, on the other hand, you got a Jezebel, this young Jackie Stout. Yeah, I watching more of her. You know what she's about? She says you can commit fornication and God will forgive you just in like a couple of seconds. And she knows because she's committed fornication, pretending to be a Christian for how many years, and goes on sinning. That Jezebel who teaches my servants to commit fornication. It's just sickening how twisted people are everywhere you look. And the one who tells the truth is banned, persecuted, censored, and hated more than all of them. And if you're even hearing this, it'd be a miracle because they censor me constantly. You know, when the Bible speaks about being tormented in the lake of fire forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, that means the second death is eternal. Death is worse than life anywhere. As Solomon said, a live dog is better than a dead lying, because for the living there exists hope, but for the dead there's nothing. They're not conscious of anything. They're dead. So God isn't going to keep the wicked alive forever so that they'll have hope. I mean, what is the purpose of torturing somebody for all eternity? You're not going to teach them anything because they've already been damned. You see, this thing about being damned means teaching lies. That's when you're damned. When you love lies, you teach lies, and your father is the devil. That's damned. So what does it mean to know God? Okay, I'm reading from Isaiah 11, verse 4. Speaking of the reign of Jesus Christ, it says, "But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with a rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw, just like the ox. And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, the snake, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. Why? Because the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Do you know how good that is? How beautiful paradise is? So Paul says in Romans 8, verse 19, for the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestations of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God.